it. I'm so good at this, you guys.
Incredible work.
Anyway, we're live now because I'm bad at this.
Oh man,
I know.
none of us are in the right spot. Well, no, bonus dad and I flipped again.
Oh, hold on, hold
I'm so
on. I'm
sorry.
gonna try the. I'm gonna try the
It's
thing.
probably because I shut my camera
I'm
off
gonna
to.
try the thing. Did that work? Oh, it did.
Yes, there you go. See,
Oh,
that's so much faster. I did the same thing you did, like the first
wow, wow,
six
wow,
months I was
wow.
streaming, and then when we were doing AOA. Anyway,
Well, hey, if I can figure this stuff out in less than 6 months, I'll feel all right. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the false start. And then I'm sure I dropped a bunch of you, and then I'm sure you all joined back in again, which I really, really appreciate. So, welcome, welcome. This is Ages of Einor Presents Beast Wilds: The Way Forward, Episode 5. This is a D&D actual play set in my homebrew campaign setting. With us, we have four wonderful players who will be playing four incredible characters. And let's meet them. If you're joining us for the first time, let's meet them for the first time. Kick it off with Bonus Dad. Tell us who you are and who you'll be playing.
Hi, everybody. Beast, I thought you were getting ready to say we were playing for incredible prizes.
I can give you prizes of the imagination, but sadly, nothing of material benefit. One day, perhaps.
I am Bonus Dad, and I am playing Nail, a high elf rogue who is a Gray Valley elf, high elf. And he's a slickery, slippery, stealthy kind of a fellow. And so that's him. And that's all you need to know right now.
Okay, thank you, Bonus Dad. Up next, Ace, please tell us who you are and who you'll be playing.
Yeah, Ace. I'm one of the DMs that's usually bumming around Bonus Mom's Tavern. Haven't run games in a little bit, but gearing up for a new one here on the horizon. Tonight I'm playing Apollo, the Hobgoblin Ranger. He's pretty simple as far as goals go. He hasn't got so much involved in the rigmarole of the world as a whole, but I think he's starting to see some of the things that everybody else deals with on a regular basis.
Wonderful. Up next, Zenobia. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Zenobia. I'm just a girl in this crazy world. And today I'm playing Catalina, who I've been playing for the past several weeks. That hasn't changed yet, so we're in the clear.
No deaths yet, no horrific mangling, but there's always time. Up next, Pixel. Tell us who you are and who you be playing.
hello everybody. My name is Pixel. I am one of the GMs here at I guess the Bonus Moms Tavern Discord, but also the Ages of Einor Twitch stream. We are currently in between shows, but our new sci-fi campaign should be starting up. It looks like in the latter half of February. We did our session 0 recently, and it went very well. I'm very excited. I have a lot of fun stuff in store for that. Um, you can also find me at twitch.tv/hammer and pixel, where I play a bunch of games. I've been doing Final Fantasy VII recently, the OG, in preparation for the new leg of the remake coming out. And also, extremely crazy stuff. I'm releasing some new music this month, which is very fun. You can find that at, I think, hammerandpixel.bandcamp.com. Or there's like a pre-save Spotify link. If you go to my socials, not a big deal, but it's very exciting. I've been working on that music for a really long time. Longer than I should have, really, honestly. But it's finally coming out, and I'm extremely pumped. I just finished doing the rework of the lyric videos yesterday. So those are all like gonna go live, and I'm very excited. I can't wait for people to hear it. So
Incredible. Yes, Bonus Dad.
I should have said you can catch me other times on Bonus Mom 70 stream, Bonus Mom 70, about 9 a.m. in the morning. She starts on TikTok, and then I come on about 10:30 and sing a song or two and read a little poetry and read an Uncle Wiggily story.
Yes. There's entertainment of all kinds to be found with the Bonus Fam. Come on down and hang out with us. We'd love to have you. Absolutely go give Pixel's new music a listen when that drops. I am incredibly privileged to have been listening to it for about 10 years now. And I haven't.
8 years.
I
Thank you
said
very
about.
much.
I said about.
About.
And I haven't stopped listening to it, so I hope neither do you when it's fully out. What a treat!
Well, and of course, we can't forget that you are in fact credited on the record as having helped me record the guitar parts for most of it. So
I hit some buttons, guys. It's not complicated. Uh, I almost played a little tambourine, but that I think that got cut from the final.
yeah, we did. We shut down the tambourines.
So we find ourselves back in the Beast Wilds. Under the shadowed skies, our perilous postmen began their disastrous delivery down the shadowed post roads. They killed the undead. They invented mudslacing. That's mud sled racing. Partied with pitiful pirates, sabotaged the salty squirter. Lore. They met a guy named Sam Asbarelian, who was a player from a previous campaign that had a little bit to do with shaping how the world currently is. What a crazy time. And we find ourselves back at the camp outside of the ruins where they first met the mighty Sam Asbarelian, poster boy of the Postmen, formerly, and now fugitive. Our folks, our perilous postmen themselves, have made a nice little camp here in the creek. They have the gentle lapping waves with some terrifying aboleth-infested waters not far, where their wagon has sadly rolled into the watery deep. They are in a safe spot now, having put down a number of undead who have wandered through the creek towards signs of life and light. And now find themselves in relative safety where they have a chance to rest, take stock of things, and cross some T's, dot some I's. Captain Granelthy, their former postman captain leading the expedition, has decided to step down after a complete lemony snickets, total series of unfortunate events leading to their arm being amputated to save them from a zombie bite. Now single-handedly deciding to relieve themselves of their post. There is an election of who could be our new captain up. A question posed to our group, which needs to be taken care of. We've lost our wagon, so it's going to be very difficult for us to get all of our stuff to where we need to get it to make our delivery. And we've lost the stuff that we need to deliver, except for a few hand-picked items that were graciously awarded as party favors for one of the most emotionally confusing anniversary parties that I think any of us have ever attended. So, we find ourselves here now, circling the campfire, questions on our minds, and perhaps several on the tips of our tongue. Captain Granelthy stands over a recently churned mound of dirt off to the side, where she says a few final words, a brief funeral ceremony for her lost arm. And as the dirt is tamped down, and Meatbone cleans, that's a joke. He doesn't clean the meat cleaver that he makes his amputations with. That stuff's dirty. And they all return to the campfire with you. So tell me, what's going on? What's running through everyone's heads? And where do we see ourselves going? What is the way forward?
Well, who wants to go first?
Please all take inspiration as well. The captain sits down. Well, I'm gonna miss my second favorite drinking arm. She was a beaut. But as I am no longer captain, I believe it's time I officiated an election for my replacement.
Niall nominates Everard.
Ah, the little guy, huh? Yeah, weird pick, but all right, we got one for the.
Oh, but mighty.
As long as it's on our side.
As long
All
as
right.
you don't stand on wind of him.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
I'll second that as well.
All right, we got a second. So I think we're calling it here, little guy, and the captain's hat is on the log next to you. Captain Granolthy takes it with her one good arm and sets it on top Everard's head. It is entirely too big.
And Niall goes,
Woo! I can't clap, so I'm just gonna cheer instead. Woo!
that Zen koan. What is the sound of one hand clapping?
Well, I got a little more time to figure that out, thanks to this other guy, this crazy little meat cleaver fella. I like having Everard in charge.
Well, here's hoping we don't all regret that.
I don't think we'll die. I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Well, I surely hope so. Now, I can't be the only one wondering. What's next, Captain? Any ideas? Any thoughts?
Well, we don't have most of our stuff. I guess the first order of business is figuring out who we're gonna put in charge of the Postmen before we all either die or leave it. That Sam guy seemed like he kind of knew what was up. Also, I think people will probably follow him and stuff. So I think we should go ahead and just, make that call.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I know he kind of said that he didn't think he was worthy or what have you, but I think honestly he's probably the most fitting candidate that we have at this point.
We surely could do no worse. He seemed a troubled sort, but the kind which maybe some leadership would benefit. He just needs a bit of purpose.
I'll go with whatever you guys go with.
And listen, I feel like if nothing else, if he's in charge for the meantime, he's critical enough and aware enough that if he were to pick somebody better fitting, I would trust his judgment any more than I would trust ours.
Quite right.
Point. Good point. I think that train's left the station. The Beastwell Railroad.
Well, chugga chugga choo choo.
I think I'd rather chug some ale than a choo-choo. Thank you very much.
Well, perhaps we best be getting out of the wilds and towards some civilization.
Yeah, what's our situation with light and food?
Yeah, so let's take stock of rations, of both light and food rations. We'll need to subtract one food ration to start.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and one
So that
light.
leaves us with two. That leaves us with two of each.
All right, two of each, but no wagon to carry them. So what's going to happen until you guys find a wagon? In order to keep everything that you've got, you're going to be making con saves against exhaustion.
I have a suggestion. Is what's the status of Saucy? Is he? I'm thinking about making cut some of these saplings and use, if we can find some kind of a piece of hide or cloth or something to make a travois to that Saucy can drag. We can put some of that stuff on it.
Well, you guys certainly have enough rope to do that. It's going to take a little bit of time, but if you're doing it well enough, I'd say that would save you from a lot of effort.
How much does all of our stuff weigh?
So you have 2 units of rations. That's 2 weeks worth of food for about 10 people or so. I think you guys are now. So what? About 3 pounds, 3 pounds of food a day times 6 times 2 times 10. 120 times 3. You're looking at like 400 pounds of food. Your light probably weighs like another, 50 pounds or so. You're carrying a couple barrels of fish oil, I believe. It's gonna be a lot. Divide it up between you. If everyone's sort of carrying like a barrel of something or some stuff on their back, it's like a full load.
Technically, if we're talking about encumbrance, Catalina can drag 540 pounds.
Yeah, for short distance maybe.
Okay, but hear me out. What if we had, 400 and some odd pounds that was one size smaller? How much would that weigh?
Mass is cubed when it doubles in size. So if it halves in size, it would go down to 50 pounds? Or no, 80 pounds?
Okay.
What am I doing? No. What's the root? What's the cube of 20? It'd be 20 pounds.
Okay, so all I'm saying is if we were able to get all this into one container, we've established I could take this container and everything inside it would also get smaller, so...
That is also true, yeah.
True.
Yeah, you want to create like a little mini... here's the thing, though. You can only make that smaller than it was or bigger than it was. It can never be the same size. So once
correct, which would inevitably give us more material once we make it bigger, correct?
Yes, I'm going to say with inanimate objects, though, you can't... Oh, gosh. No, I've already given you the freaking crossbow. That's fine.
Like, I don't want to be that guy, but it's kind of out there.
It's already there. Let's do it. All right.
That petard is a hoisting.
I love it. I love the creativity. I can't say no.
So, like, if we could fashion a something, be it some kind of box or something that we can then withhold as one unit, we could definitely make that smaller. And I mean, for the sake of Beast, I would even be willing to use a couple on this, so that we could maintain this.
It might. So you guys are in the creek, sort of on the other side from where you were. You would not have been able to traverse this through the creek from where you were to where you are now. It's gonna take you maybe like another day or so to get out of the creek to get north of it, and then once you're north of the creek, you'll be able to find the post road to get to your next destination on the itinerary, which is Dusty Springs, a small outpost in the Badlands to the north.
Wasn't there near where we met Sam, where he had vanquished those brigands or whatever they were?
Mm-hmm.
There a set of ruins there that
Yes.
might be explored to see what kind of anything interesting that might help us?
Yep, there are ruins. There are the ruins of the Mercy Cormac Bart. Cormac Bart was the guy whose beheaded statue Scobie Yimdimson was perched on a few days back towards Jafrune City, or a couple weeks back towards Jafrune City. So clearly an old historic figure. This stone building was commemorated with his name. It's sinking into the muck and the mire of the creek, being swallowed by it. But there is... you guys have spent enough time in the camp now that after cleaning up from Sam's scuffle, you probably would have noticed that there's like some thick moss that was churned up. Chunks of it, just carpet swept aside, and there's polished slate paving stones that lead up to this stone structure. A stone portico, which is now sort of half submerged in the wet earth, and you can explore it.
Well, Niall is interested in exploring it.
Sure. So Niall wants to explore the Mercy. Does anyone else want to give it a look-see?
Yeah, we might as well see what's in there. If there's anything that can help or anything we can take, right?
Yeah.
True.
All right. Any other business folks would like to do before we get to snooping? Okay. I heard nothing. So, the rest of your party is going to hang out while you go check out these ruins. Niall, since you are leading the expedition, I'd like you to make a perception check as you approach.
Okay. Perception. That's a 13 on the die, and 3 is 16.
Okay, yeah. With a 16, do you have any sources of light with you as you approach?
Let's see. What do I have?
Or you're an elf. You have dark vision, right?
Vision.
Do high elves have dark vision? I always forget.
Yes, all elves have dark vision.
Oh, okay. Then you're fine. So,
I said I must have broken up or something.
oh yeah, I think it must have been on my end.
Yeah, I think out of the group, at least of PCs, I'm the only one that doesn't have dark vision naturally, except my class, I think, grants me dark vision.
That's
so.
correct. All right, so Niall, as you approach the sunken stone structure, the outside of the stone structure is sort of overgrown with mosses and lichens, and just inside, where the firelight from the campfire flickers, you can see a long stone wall that's remained intact as part of a larger open antechamber, a single open structure, and etched onto this wall is a series of worn mural scenes, which you can investigate in turn, but you will have to enter inside the structure.
All right. Who's with me? Niall enters the structure.
All right, who's backing him up?
I will.
All right, Catalina.
Yeah, I'll also go in there.
Yeah, if he's openly asked, Apollo would go with him.
All right, so everyone's in on it. I would like everyone to make a perception or investigation check, or any other checks that you'd like to make. And Niall, with your 16.
Oh, awesome.
Niall's investigation is a 15.
Okay.
Everard's got a 4 for investigation.
Okay.
Ooh,
I got a nat 20.
Oh, yikes.
Wow,
Okay.
I thought I was doing well at 23, but yeah, she got me.
Okay.
Hey, technically it's a 22 if you actually add my investigation, so you still did better.
Okay. So, Niall, as the first person to walk in, you are immediately drawn to this series of mural etchings in the stone. And with a 15, you can tell that the stone of this wall is a different quality of stone than what is generally the entrance made of. To you, with your culture, your longevity, and your acumen, you're able to understand that this stone was stolen or repurposed from another building to build this building, and that this mural itself has been somewhat eroded by that fact, but has been carefully replaced in order to preserve the mural scenes. So whatever this building was before, it was important that this was in here. Everard.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
this was added. Was this stone added after the building was constructed, or was it the building built with part of that stone in it? And what does the mural contain?
We'll get to the. I'll describe the mural in a second. It contains a number of scenes of larger than life female figures doing some fantastic things. And the stone seems older than the rest of the building. So it looks like this was either brought here intentionally from an older place, or the rest of the building was actually built around this wall in order to preserve it. Everard, with a 4, you find an extremely delicious looking purple mushroom with green spots.
So, unfortunately, I don't have to eat anymore. So,
Okay.
I think I just lament the fact that it would be wasteful and throw it in with the rest of the camp supplies.
Okay, sure. We'll deal with that in a little bit. With a 23 ace, you can tell in this low light environment that as the mural spans the length of the wall towards the back, there is another doorway. There's some foliage and things grown up around it, some vines hanging down to obscure it, but you can tell that there's another antechamber at the back end of this place. And with a nat 20, Catalina, you immediately recognize that the murals themselves were previously painted a very brilliant technicolor with all different hues, but most of it's been worn off and faded, only dull patches remaining. You do, however, find embedded in the etching a number of precious stones which have collected moss and dust that were previously obscured. And if you pry these stones out, they'll be worth about 100 gold pieces. And as Nail draws everyone's attention to these murals, we're going to sort of start a walking tour as you all sort of observe these in process. So the first scene that you come upon shows 5 larger-than-life female figures in profile, all facing to the right, the way that you're walking. They're each holding hands in a chain with one another, the person in front of them, and Catalina was able to see the colors that were left on each of these figures, and so in turn, the colors that they were painted with were silver, red, white, black, and gold. So each figure was their own color. Silver, red, white, black, and gold. The first figure in the front, the silver one, is wearing a crown shaped like a thin sort of crescent moon, and they are holding a flute lute, a type of magical stringed instrument. The red one has 8 arms, which are each holding different types of bladed instruments, and they are perched upon a single foot with their other foot raised, almost as if they're hopping or dancing. The white figure in the middle has a very large protruding pregnant belly, and the bottom half of the torso just beneath the waist is actually a large serpentine snake's tail. The black figure is wearing a full-bodied veil obscuring their physical shape, so they just sort of seem like a weird little A shape. However, there is a single hand, clawed hand, holding onto a staff, which itself is another arm clutching a object, a crystal of some sort. And the final figure in gold has a beautiful, radiant, circular afro, sort of a curly plasma, halo. And in the palm of their hands, they are holding what appears to be a radiating magical light. So each of these figures is holding hands in a chain facing the direction of a large circular spiral, which has been left intentionally uncolored. As you walk past the 5 figures to the next sequence of scenes, you see now the gold figure seems to be holding an audience with the red, white, and black ones. The red, white, and black figures seem about half the size of the gold one, sort of communicating to you that the gold person is more important, more powerful. The silver figure has now left the other 4 behind and has begun to stretch and coil their body around the outside of the giant spiral. The red, white, and black figures in the following scene have now turned away from the gold figure and, brandishing blades, have snuck up onto the silver figure and seem to be striking around the outside of their body. The gold figure is now seen chasing after the other 4, raising a weapon high in an attempt to strike at them. As you continue walking, the silver figure has now spun upside down on the inside of the spiral. There is a flowing of energy or liquid from their body. The gold figure has turned and raised their weapons now against the other 3 figures, red, white, and black, as they surround the silver from the inside of the spiral. The final scene is of the silver figure and a river of energy emanating downwards from them as the spiral onto a pyramid with what seems to be a city built around it. This pyramid seems to be receiving their life force in a way. And the red, white, and black figures are now inside of a diamond, which is traveling down the river towards the land where the city is. There seems to have been a final portion of the wall which has unfortunately been knocked down, broken, stolen, or otherwise dispersed across the ruins, and the beginnings of a last etching of mural seem to have been lost to a lack of preservation. When you look at the second to last, the last remaining mural, a little closer, you see inside of a circle at the apex of this pyramid is a tiny little featureless figure. And that this circle at the apex of the pyramid is actually 5 very thin concentric rings, which all still have the painted glitter paint applied to them. And that figure is there at the bottom, receiving that energy from the spiral figure up top. After you look at it for a little bit, you kind of get a sense that these figures are representing different entities, cosmic or ethereal, a set of old deities, perhaps once worshipped long, long ago, that none of you have heard of or really remembered anyone speaking of. And now that you've made it down to the very back of that wall, you're standing not too far from the overgrown portal to another place that Apollo had noticed earlier. Vines have grown down and are sort of choking it out, but with a little bit of elbow grease, you might be able to push your way through or chop it through.
Yeah, I think Apollo would probably pull his dagger and just start clearing at least enough. Like he's not trying to, clean the place up, but clear enough that we can get through with ease.
Yeah.
Before we leave, if I take any of the gems, do I think any traps will be set off?
With a nat 20, you can tell that these gems are not connected to anything in terms of like a mechanical sense. They do, however, seem to have a certain inner light to them.
Does anyone have detect magic?
I have a ring of detect non-magic,
Oh,
so
I
it
physically
functionally
pick up
could be
Everard.
detect magic.
I pick up Everard and just put him closer to the wall and see if his ring
Okay,
glows.
okay, all right. That's the thing that's happening, I guess.
Yeah, and the ring does go dull.
Well, the ring's been dull because I'm dead and stuff, and that's magical. Why don't we? What do you have any magic on you?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hand you the ring, and then I'm gonna go over there,
Okay.
and then I guess we'll see if it glows or not.
Yeah, you see Everard take the ring off, and like as he removes it from his finger, it starts to radiate a little bit. He puts it in your hand, and it gets just a tiny bit brighter, to the point where it's like a candle flame. And as you hold it and wave it over the gemstones, it gets dark as you get it close to the gems. It does sense that they are magical in nature.
Probably should take things, but I've done a lot of things I probably shouldn't do this time. So, and I feel like Cat just like plucks them out.
Okay, I need an intelligence saving throw, please.
Awesome. The one time I decide not to pour everything into an intelligent character. Okay, that's a 19 on the die.
Okay, 19 passes. You resist the effects. As you pry a particularly gorgeous ruby out of the wall, there is a spark inside of the ruby which seems to glow and reach towards the surface of the crystal. Excuse me. And it zaps your finger and travels up your arm and just sort of like winds around your whole body. It goes up into your brain behind your eyes, and grunting ever so slightly, you're able to just sort of shake it off. You could feel that there was something probing at your intelligence, attempting to influence your mind. But you're safe.
I don't like that. And I kind of look at like Everard and Nail and be like, hey, this tried to dig into my brain real quick. Should I do one of you guys want it? I might just put it back in the wall. I did enjoy that feeling.
Any takers?
I mean, that usually seems bad, so I think maybe my vote is leave it here. But
I feel like Cat just slowly pushes it back into the spot in hopes that it sticks.
Yeah, it almost has a magnetic sensation to it when you return it to where it was. It was probably used on one of the 5 figures to decorate them in the murals, and it just sort of snaps back into where it was. It seems happy to be here.
I will not pick up any more gems.
Okay, I have to ask. After she's pulled one out, are there any of them that are what I'm going to describe as like onyx looking, as in familiar to a rock that I would have seen somebody else carry a long time ago?
Yes, one of the gemstones is a dark crystal, and it is the one that is being clutched in the staff, the mummified hand of the staff of the black figure.
Okay. Um, I think without trying to draw a whole lot of attention, like he's not trying to make a scene of it. Um, I think the curiosity gets the better of him, and Apollo needs to try and touch that rock to
Okay.
get that out of there.
All right. I need a wisdom save.
Okay. Also, for the record, he's not trying to necessarily hide it, but I did roll a sleight of hand check, which is a 26 to grab that without trying to make a scene. So
Does anyone want to try and catch him? 20.
I
Gotta,
mean-
gotta be a 26.
On a natural 20, I get a 19 on perception. Okay. So I don't think Everard's got this one.
Okay. Yeah.
did you say an intelligence check or saving throw?
Wisdom save, please.
Wisdom save.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Dirty 20.
Okay, yeah, that's good. With a dirty 20, you take 5 points of radiant damage, and I need everyone to make a Constitution save DC 10, or you will be blinded for the next minute.
That's an
Okay.
11.
Made the save at a
Saves.
12.
Saves.
Lawful stupid comes through again. That is a 22 all
Saves.
day.
16 for Naeem.
Saves. You are all not looking, thankfully. Apollo was able to very quietly and carefully tap this thing and pry it out. It pops out into your hand, and as you're looking at it, Ace, it blossoms with light and shoots out in every direction. And everyone's kind of looking away, so you're able to just sort of squint it away. It senses you. You can. It's almost like a handshake. And the light dims and sort of folds itself back into the crystal. What you felt, and it burns your hand from how radiant it is, but you can tell that it has backed off fast enough, intentionally not to hurt you. It just kind of seems a little afraid and maybe confused.
Okay. I am going to tuck that away. Just kind of, I am going to keep it with me. I think in Apollo's head, he's trying to uncover if this is the source of his previous turmoil. And if it has something to tie to this. So for the moment, he's going to hang on to it. I feel like he would also probably grab just like some loose linen or something to wrap around his hand, if for nothing else to try and conceal some of the burn, just to not make it like as obvious should he touch something or whatever that would, draw attention to his misdoings.
Awesome. Yeah, you're able to conceal that safely. You feel that shard kind of go into a dormant state as you put it away. And we had a bonus Mom 70 raid. Woo! To all 23 of you watching, I'm incredibly honored. I think this is the biggest audience I've ever had. No, I'm not nervous. You're nervous. So, Ace, you're able to pocket that dark crystal. which go ahead and note that once you've attuned to it, you'll be able to cast the light spell once per day.
Okay.
Okay. You are all now still standing in the Mercy Cormac Bart in the ruins thereof. You've cleared away the vines leading to a small antechamber. You've observed this mural of goddess-like entities and them grappling with some sort of malevolent force. What do you do?
Well, Nail peers into the antechamber. Is the door open or closed?
The door has rotted away and was previously replaced by some dangling vines and overgrowth, which you've cleared. I will say, however, I think you're far deep enough into the ruins that the campfire light won't let you see into this room without another source of light.
It will.
Will not. It is too dark.
Okay.
Which means that it is not exposed to the outside. It probably still has a roof and everything. And you guys have felt, as you've walked deeper in, you've been kind of walking down into the earth a little bit. There's humidity, the walls are slick with moisture. The vegetation here is clearly not the kind that needs light to thrive.
Well, I don't have a light source, but I'd like to see what's in this antechamber.
Do you guys want to light a torch? I think
My dark vision doesn't seem to penetrate it.
Apollo had a torch, right?
Yeah, I did have the one that we kind of tucked away. I think he would definitely offer it to Nail and just kind of say, hey, I stashed this away. If we want to use it, I feel like now's as good a time as any.
So Nail takes the torch, which he lights, and looks into the room.
The torch flickers into life, and everyone please announce whether or not you have chat inspiration. I think maybe only one of you does. Okay, Hammer and Pixel does.
I do not.
I do not either.
Okay, Ace and Catalina need chat inspo, and maybe bonus dad too. So, come on, chat, pony up. The torch alights, creates a sudden numerous number of dancing shadows as it flickers around you. You stare into the room, and you can tell that it is a relatively small, about 15 by 15 room. It actually has a circular shape to it. And in the middle of that room, sunken down as it is, the floor cracked and overgrown, appears to be some kind of well or pit opening. It takes up the majority of the center of the room. It's big enough that any one of you could probably jump in head first without too much danger of banging your elbows on the side. There is liquid you can see reflecting the firelight inside of this open well.
So Nail takes a look at the floor to see if it is slick, like with moss or mud or anything like that that might cause. Let's see. Does the floor slope toward that well in the center, or is the floor level?
The floor is not level. It's pretty tricky. A lot of ankle breakers, and the well itself is sort of lower as it's on sort of the back end of the building. The whole time that you've been descending, this is sort of the final drop.
Okay. is the floor slick?
There's I want to say there's a nice bit of moss and lichen and things that you should be able to set your feet into. Um, if you start to step down into this room, I don't think you're in any danger of slipping into the well unless somebody pushed you. Ace, you have chat inspiration. Catalina, you have chat inspiration. Well, Sinovia has chat inspiration. Excuse me. All right.
Okay, I just need to grow another foot and I will be Catalina.
They have surgery for that. All right. You're all standing, looking down into the dark pooled liquid at a large well in the sunken corner of an ancient ruin.
All right. Holding the torch out kind of over the water, can I see down into it?
The surface appears opaque.
All right. So with his other hand, Nail draws his rapier and sticks it down into the water just to test the depth to see if he can touch the bottom.
As you, how do you think Niall's is he trying to agitate the surface, or he's literally just trying to see the depth? He's trying to measure it with the length of his blade.
He's just trying to measure it. He just kind of sticks that down in gently to see if he can touch the bottom, to see if there's any bottom to it.
You don't hit anything, and the water is up to your hilt. Any deeper, and you'd have to stick your hand in.
Okay, and I'm not going to do that. So
Okay.
I draw my rapier back out of the water, and I kind of squeegee the water off the blade with my fingers. So what happens?
You take 1 point of acid damage as the liquid burns the tips of your fingers.
Okay. Well, that liquid does not seem to be water, and it doesn't seem to affect good steel, but it burned my fingers, so I wouldn't touch it if I were any of you.
Are there any like other carvings or anything on the walls, or it's just like a circular stone room with this liquid in it?
It is
in the center.
It is a fairly barren structure. You're all able to sort of stand inside of it at once, but the walls are overgrown. The floor itself seems to be crumbling and sinking deeper and deeper, and there's little drops of water, dew and humidity and things that are dripping from the ceiling. It's a damp place. The water, if it touches the well, doesn't react. You don't see it hissing or anything like that. But you can't see through this liquid. And there doesn't seem to be anything else of note in this room. Suffice to say, anything that you put in here is probably going to get dissolved, destroyed.
Okay.
We don't have anything that like needs destroying, do we?
No.
That mind-altering crystal from the other room.
That's interesting, but we'd have to like,
Touch it again.
yeah, touch it. And
Oh, yeah, good point.
we have to get it down here.
How about we just like head out? I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm kind of scared.
I think you all get the sense that if something bad had happened, you might have been able to undo it by destroying things in this well. As it stands, you successfully avoided the worst of the dangers in this place.
As newly appointed captain, I decree that this is a solution to a problem we don't have. And I think we should get the hell out of here before it becomes a problem we do have.
Agree.
Yep.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Gorgeous. All right, so you all steal away. You're able to leave safely. No traps are triggered. No stones fall in your head. No choking vines snatch you up. There's just one less crystal in an ancient mural in a crumbling ruin in the middle of the jungle. You rejoin the campfire, and you're all greeted by your other companions, Captain Granothy, Squeefa, Meatbone, Knock Knock, and Glemma, and Serena, who's taking care of Saucy. As you join the campfire, Knock Knock and Glemma sort of stand up and approach you. Knock Knock, the spokesperson. We found a trail! A trail! He points down at the scuffed up, polished slate flagstones that lead up to the entrance of the Mercy. And he sort of, using his little Kenku finger, he traces it out. And he says, it keeps going! Keeps going! And Glemma sort of taps him on the shoulder. Oh, it's probably an old post road. Maybe it'll lead to the regular one.
That sounds right. If the captain agrees, of course.
Yeah, well, we didn't find anything of use in there, so I guess we better just hit the road.
All right. Any last things that you'd like to do? So there was some mention. There was some mention of making a like a pallet for Saucy to drag to make sure that you all avoid having to make saves against exhaustion for carrying all your stuff. Here's the bargain I'll make with you. You can either all make a con save now, as if you were carrying all of your gear, having lost the wagon, and we can sort of hope for the best, and maybe you'll be able to purchase a wagon when you get to Dusty Springs, something like that. Or we can increment your travel die that will be rolled at the end of this session for the amount of time that you spend building these things in order to save yourselves that kind of stress. It might be helpful for us to review how many days have elapsed so far. Scrivener, do you have a count?
Yep. Today is the day of dawn of the week of burning of the month of the moon of the season of storms. 24 days remain until we have our deadline for when we're supposed to be in our final location.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to risk spending a little more time to save your backs, or do you want to push on?
What do you think, Captain?
Yeah, I kind of think it's the captain's call. I will say, I feel like if we weren't carrying this on our backs, if we were to be attacked, we at least have the freedom to react and move without jeopardizing our equipment. But I'm up for either option.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is it seems like we're in a relatively safe place now, having taken out those undead previously. It might be worth the extra time so that we're fresher if we do get attacked on the road, and hopefully we can just make up the time later, not having to, constantly worry about being exhausted.
Is there a way that we could do it faster? Like instead of making some kind of sled or like something that Saucy has to pull, if we can just tie our bags together, like using whatever rope we have and throw that over Saucy's back, kind of like camel style?
I'd say that if you wanted to do the sort of fast and nasty way where you're just slinging stuff onto Saucy's back, I will still make you guys do an exhaustion save, a con save, but I'll lower the DC because you're not carrying as much stuff. So if you want to try and risk it, I'll say the DC for exhaustion is 12. DC 12 Constitution saving throw. And if you want to sling stuff on Saucy's back, sort of, fast and nasty, I'm going to need relevant skill checks that add up to 25. And I will lower the DC by 1 for every 5 you get over that.
And in theory, if I were to say burn 4 arrowheads to line, like, I'm thinking in general terms, like some kind of tarp to make like a rucksack that we could then shrink.
If you're willing to burn 4 arrows to put together a travel system, then I'm going to say, that's the price for avoiding any exhaustion.
All right. I think Apollo would put that up for the team.
How
Okay.
many arrows do you have left?
I mean, it'll leave me with a couple in case we really get in a bind, but I mean, look, it's not like I earned these to begin with. It's not like I have any kind of attachment to them. I took them to get me out of a bind, and I feel like this is as much of a bind as any. And in theory, if we come out on the other side and we make these bigger, in theory, it'll also give us additional resources. So,
What could we get for 2?
Well, he's willing to burn 4 of them. I don't know that him spending more than 4 or using more than 4 would be advantageous past you guys saving the time and the effort. I think 4 is pretty high price, and I'm willing to accept that trade. I'll also point out you were able to ensorcel Saucy, who was a medium-sized direwolf, is now either a small dog-sized wolf or a large horse-sized wolf. You know that these arrows also work on living creatures. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get too much into the weeds.
Who are we sacrificing to make giant?
I'm sorry, Zenobia, what did you say?
I said, who are we sacrificing to make giant?
Yeah, that's a pretty big sacrifice, Apollo.
It's a big change.
I mean, it's up to you guys. Like I said, I'm willing to use them. I truthfully, I don't feel like I earned them, so to use them for the betterment of the group, doesn't really bother me. But if we would rather keep them as a resource for down the line, then that's okay too. So,
I mean, my vote is that the theoretical extra food and light source that we get out of using them is worth it, but it's just kind of hard to come by out here.
I think the arrows might work just because if we do collect more resources at Dusty Springs, we might be able to try. Well, maybe we won't be able to try the string again. To get even more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the road is long. Your itinerary has you going to Dusty Springs next. After that, it's the Hope Falls Post Garrison, the Sanguina Bart Post Garrison, the city of Cherna, the Bone Coast Post Road, which is the road to the capital of Pfuloropolis, and then finally your destination, which is going to be the Pfuloropolis Chancery, which is the vault of the Sensory Antiquarian, where you were supposed to be delivering a number of forbidden magical items that you don't quite have anymore.
What is the difference then if we burn the time or take the time, we wind up in the same place, right? We just don't have the exhaustion possibility.
Yeah, you risk spending more time out here in the creek. You risk exposure to danger out in the wilds, and you just spending time. But you would save some magical items that could be useful later on. But you know, the road is long. Time ticks on, but you are probably going to have plenty of chances to resupply along your route. It's sort of the in-betweens you got to survive. Also, keep in mind, it's the season of storms. So, as you progress, you may face certain devastating, harsh weather patterns. Um, being prepared for that will be important. So, we have three options presented to us. I want to move past this. We have rough it, take the exhaustion, hope to beat it, and keep going. Spend some time, make a pallet that will save your backs at Saucy's expense and at the expense of potentially a few extra days. And 3, spend 4 enlarge reduce arrowheads in order to very quickly manufacture a way to carry all of your things without taking the time and still saving your bags. We got those 3 options. So I think it's now up to the captain to render a deciding vote.
I mean, I think that for me, the idea of the rucksack that might be able to multiply some of what we have in there is just too much of a benefit to pass up. So that's that. I don't know. That's my vote, unless everyone else hates that idea.
All right. Option 3. That's the captain's preference. Any dissenting opinions?
I'm fine with that. I'll go along with the group. That's, yep.
Okay. All right.
So I think with that, Apollo will fish out 4 of the arrowheads he's got stashed on him, lay them out for the group so we can kind of work together and getting this together as quick as possible. And I think in transparency, he would even offer up to the group. He goes, so just so we're clear, I have 1 left. Should it really come down to it.
Okay. We got one last little funky boy.
Just to be entirely clear, between Beast and I actually have 2 left, but Apollo is not giving that information away in entirety. So
okay. Love it. Play close to the chest. So, Ace, tell me what it looks like as you assemble this magnificent rucksack, this adjustable rucksack, before we hit the road.
Yeah, so I think he's the idea is using the 4 of them in like the corners of a makeshift tarp, if you will, that we can then kind of cinch together, bring the 4 arrowheads together to quote unquote seal it, and then shrink the entire thing in its entirety to bring everything down to a more manageable size.
Wonderful. So you all see, as you've gathered the corners together, the whole thing shrinks up, and about 500 pounds of gear, food, light, and other miscellaneous is now a very manageable rucksack. Although a little bit heavy, one person can carry this without any problem, as long as they aren't Everard.
Yeah, that tracks.
So, you are now all about to kick off down this road that Knock Knock and Glemma found, this old post road. Hopefully it leads somewhere. I'd like to take a short break before we get to Stompin', if that's all right with everyone.
Fine by me.
All right. So please, if you would, just take a quick few minutes. We'll be back by about 7:20. All right. See everyone soon. And now I just have to actually transition everything. Bam. And we're back. And I hope that Yep. I see levels. We're golden. We're live. We're hot. And only some of those are technical terms. Thanks to everyone who's still watching. Our perilous postmen now are following the old post road that their companions Glemma and Knock Knock seem to have traced away from the Mercy Cormac Bart. We have a listener comment I'm going to take a moment to read. This is from A. Clark, 2007. Hi, A. Clark. Hi, first time joining. I love listening to D&D games. You guys might know my mom and dad, Jazzy and Slyer.
I believe
Slayer?
it's Silver.
Silver?
No, it is
No,
Slyer.
Slyer. I'm
Slyer?
wrong.
It's
Okay.
Jazzy and Slyer. Yep.
Nice.
My bad.
And
I'm the worst.
I think I do know Jazzy, so thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy. As you all take your new magically manufactured rucksack, which manipulates the contents to be manageably carried, you travel out and out. An indeterminate amount of time passes by as you trudge this old post road. And after that time has elapsed and you all are starting to feel like maybe it's time to set up camp, what's that smell? It's rotten. Is that Saucy? Does Saucy need a bath? You're all choked by an offensive miasma of indeterminate origin. What do you do?
Do I hear any frogs?
You do not hear frogs. You have left the safety of the chirping frogs behind. We are now in danger zone.
Where's the reach?
I think we just got to keep going, right?
Yeah, I think we should keep going. But I'm going to ready in action either with my regular whip or the old gold thread. That if anything gets within 10 feet of us, I can attack them.
Okay. Continuing on cautiously, weapons at the ready, you come out of the forest and into a clearing where the road sits at the bottom of a gently sloped hill, and the smell is much stronger now. As you all sort of look up at the hill, the torches that you're presumably carrying, I assume you are all traveling with light, cast just up the grassy hill to where you can see an unusual makeshift fortress. A large wagon has been overturned a few feet from the road up on the crest of this small hillock. An incomplete moat of sorts is ringing the structure, and the vapors from its gelatinous contents reach your nose even at 50 paces. The wagon has been reinforced with broken shields, scavenged planks, and an unfortunate dead fox has been nailed unceremoniously atop the crude doorway. Slits and holes of various sizes have been bored and carved into the walls of the wagon, and if you listen closely, you can hear wicked whispering and rustling coming from within. A flag made from cloth scraps hangs unmoving in the still air. This is dangerous. It's an obstacle. You all can tell that passing by this structure will be dangerous in and of itself. You can attempt to sneak around, but now that the forest lies behind you, there's not a lot of cover. What do you do?
Well, that doesn't look great.
It doesn't smell great either.
not what you want to hear from the captain, but okay.
Well, okay, so we have some options here, friends. We can try and just like sneak by and not deal with it. I think technically we're supposed to keep the road safe, but uh, I don't know that. I'm not sure how seriously any of us take that particular duty. So, open to suggestion on that one.
Well, Captain Granothy looks up. That wagon's in really good shape. If we could flip it over, I bet we could roll it down the hill and it's not Postmen make, but it's real sturdy. I don't know. What do you guys think? We could use a replacement after what tragically happened to the last one that was nobody's fault.
Would save us carrying all this gear. And if our halfling captain hails them, they might underestimate us, which might give us an advantage.
I mean, I suppose I could try the old small bean defense.
So you guys are at the bottom of this hill on the overgrown old post road, looking up at this overturned wagon, which has been crafted into a makeshift stronghold. It's large enough. It's a little bit bigger than your last wagon, but it's easily large enough to haul everything you've got and give some of you the ability to ride in the wagon, saving your feet and your backs a little bit.
Okay, I mean, I'm willing to go try and talk to these people. Just on the off chance that they start shooting before they say anything, just have my back, I guess. Please.
Yeah, just don't get too close. Hail them from a distance, and we'll back you up.
All right. So
All right.
Everard's approaching the stronghold.
Yeah.
Is anyone else going with Everard? Or are you all trying to hang back in sort of the curtain of the woods?
I'm going with him. Nail's going with him.
Okay. How are you choosing to approach? Stealthily or in the open?
I mean, I feel like for me it's got to be in the open, but I feel like I'm not getting closer than I don't know, 150 feet or so.
Okay.
Some longbow range would get me, but I don't, but you can't shout from longbow range really, right? So it's I'll be in what I'm hoping is
a nice
just outside
safe
of
distance.
easy short bow distance. I'd be in long range for a short bow, so I'm hoping that that'll be enough.
Okay. And is Nail approaching openly or stealthily?
Nail readies his short bow.
Okay.
And I also have false life on from before.
Okay.
And before I head up, I'm going to spend my 2 sorcery points to give myself back my first level spell slot.
Sounds good.
Or one of them.
Can everyone please tell me your current permanent hit points, not any temp, and your armor class, since you've all leveled up recently?
That's 14 total for Everard.
14 hit points or 14 armor class?
14 hit points, 13 armor class.
Okay, thank you. Catalina?
I'm at 24 hit points and 14 armor class.
Okay. Ace? Apollo?
20 total hit points and 16 armor class.
Okay, and bonus dead, Nail?
My total hit points is 22, but I took 1 point of some kind of damage.
That's right.
So however you want to count that, it's either 22 or 21. My armor class is 15.
Great. Okay, thank you very much.
You wanted our total hit points, not current, correct?
Yeah. Total hit points, just so that I know if, there's a potential killing blow or anything like that. Technicalities.
Yeah. Yep.
Fun stuff. So, Everard, you approach, and the the sound of snickering and laughter hits your ears, drifting off through the distance, and you can tell that it is not common. What languages does Everard speak?
Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Halfling.
You do not recognize this language.
Well, I suppose I can just yell at them in common and hope that any of them understand it.
Sure. What does Everard say? How does Everard announce himself?
Hey, what's your name?
Yo!
Hello, we're not but weary travelers on this lonesome road. What, can we pass, or,
You hear a sort of frightened exchange. Clup, clup, and there is a shuffling from within, and several rotting planks are sort of shifted from arrow slits in the side. You do see in the distance there are some arrows knocked and ready. However, you do hear a response in common from inside. Who stands before the mighty fortress of Dib, Halfling Muncher? Have you come to pay tribute to me, the warlord of this region?
no? Nobody actually really knows you're here, Mr. Warlord, sir. We just kind of stumbled across you.
Nonsense! I have a prime location on this often traveled road, and you will be my first victims.
Okay, I feel like there's a contradiction there, though, right? Often traveled, but we're your first victims. So, how long have you been setting up shop? Do you know math? I know math. I can help you with the math if you'd like to see if this is actually, statistically speaking, a good place to be or not.
You hear a brief exchange inside. I don't know what day it is, do you? I don't know, we've been here for a while. I don't know, I think I pooped like 24 times.
Okay.
Bonus 10?
Okay, question.
Mm-hmm.
Besides common, Elvish, and Dwarvish, Nail speaks thieves' cant. Does he understand?
He does not. They are speaking Goblin, or were speaking Goblin. They have now switched to Common, which they do speak. And so you hear a brief exchange on the inside, and Dib Halfling Muncher responds, "If you are not here to bear tribute to my greatness, then you are here to die." And I would like everyone to please roll initiative.
All right, well, so much for that plan.
There are a sudden loosing of arrows from the fortress. One of them goes thunk, and immediately hits the wet ground in front, and the other one thwung, flies through the air and with a 19 deals 5 piercing damage to Everard. Please give me your initiatives.
That's a 15 from Everard.
15.
I'm here with a
17 for Nail.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here with a big 6.
Big 6. What do we got
Hollow
for
rocking the 11.
Woohoo! Snake eyes. Okay. And I think we need just a tiny little bit of music. Arrows fling out from the fortress. Phew, phew, One immediately cascading into the grass, the other finding a true mark against the bloodless flesh of our halfling captain. Everard, you are not the first to act, as Nail was prepared for this eventuality. However, Apollo and Catalina, having stayed back, are a little bit slower to react and will have to charge up the hill. The hill itself is, you said you were about 150 feet away, Everard?
Yeah, I think that's what I said.
So the rest of you are about 60 feet further back towards the edge of the woods. And we kick it off with Nail. Nail, you are standing near Everard, so about 150 feet away from this fortress, as it shoots pot shots at you. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can approach this, because they're hiding. There's a gaggle of goblins hiding under this wagon, using it as a barricade. In order to get to them, you're going to have to figure out a way to get under or through the wagon. Now, there's 3 different ways that you can approach this. You can try to kick in the reinforced door, which is going to take 3 solid kicks, and each kick is an attack. Basically, you have to roll a DC 14 athletics check in order to get a solid kick on the door. You and anyone else. You can also try to lift the whole damn thing up and flip it over, which is going to take 2 rounds. So each round you have to make a successful DC 17 strength check, or the DC will be reduced for every person that is helping. And you have to do that for 2 rounds. 1 to lift it up and a second round to tip it over. Or you can just straight up try to smash a hole through the side, at which case this fortress has 40 hit points and an armor class of 12. So, tell me, Nail, as you kick off this aggression, how you intend to fight back.
What is the range on the short bow?
I think you're just inside of your range, about 150 feet.
Okay. And Nail draws his short bow and looses an arrow toward one of the arrow ports.
All right, give me a hit. Up next will be Everard.
Let's see. What am I?
The AC is 12 that you're trying to beat.
Okay.
Yeah, so your attack bonus is going to be what?
6.
You got it? Yeah.
That sounds right.
All right. 6 is 14.
That's a hit. Give me some damage.
All right. 1d6 plus 4.
Sadly, you cannot sneak attack an inert wagon.
That's 5.
5 damage. Yeah, you shoot your arrow, and you can see as it enters that porthole, you hear a yow, and a little bit of that wood has been ripped away, sort of weakening the structure as you deal 5 damage. Is there anything else that Nail would like to do? You want to get closer? You want to stay where you are?
Since I am at that distance where their arrows are not that accurate or effective, I'm going to stay where I am, and I'm going to switch to my crossbow.
Okay. Up next, Everard. On deck will be Apollo.
Well, I have almost nothing of any use in this scenario.
Okay.
So, I am going to drop prone.
Okay.
Because that imposes disadvantage
It
on
does.
anyone who is not within 5 feet of me trying to hit me.
Great.
And then I'm going to begin crawling towards the wagon. And I will use my action to dash. So I think dropping prone takes 5 feet of movement.
So
and then, yeah, so if I dash, then I would have 45 feet of movement. So I can get another...
Well, you're crawling, though, so you're not moving at
25
full
feet.
speed. You're moving...
Right, but it's half... Yeah,
Right,
so...
okay.
Yeah, so I'm cutting it in half. So half that would be I'd be able to make it 25 feet
Yeah.
at half speed. Yeah.
So Everard immediately
Oh.
drops to the ground. Catalina and Apollo, you see Everard hit with an arrow, immediately falls to the ground, and just starts hustling through the grass.
And I shout at everybody, burn them out of there if you can. And if you're prone, it'll be harder for them to hit you.
Okay, at this
crawl.
rate, it's going to take Everard
A long time.
like another 4 turns to get up there.
Yep.
But he's going to be doing it a lot safer than he otherwise would be. And that's it for Everard?
Yep.
Okay, Apollo, you're up, and Catalina will be next.
Okay.
Apollo, you're about 200 feet away at the bottom of a gentle slope where you see Nail and Everard being attacked about 50 feet ahead of you.
Yeah, so I think Apollo would probably use yeah, I think he's really got no choice but to action dash to get up at least within range with Nail. But I think he wants to separate so as not to be bunched up. He kind of wants to space out a little bit to at least force them to choose a target. And as he gets up there, he'll kind of dive forward and use his last 5 feet to get prone.
Nice. Yeah. Apollo slips up the hill and immediately just sort of like full chest dives into the grass just ahead of Nail. Catalina, you are up. What does Catalina do, Zenobia?
I want to go around, kind of like, I obviously want to stoop when I'm trying to do this, but go around to the other side of the wagon to see if anybody's shooting from that way, just so that I can probably get an upper hand on tipping it if they don't know I'm there.
Okay, so you want to approach the wagon, basically?
Yeah, I want to approach the wagon, but from the opposite side of everybody else.
Scatter. Oh, I get it. So you'll take a full turn to sort of maneuver around the outside, and then you can begin getting closer to it. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Catalina immediately breaks and runs along the edge of the forest as 2 more arrows shoot out. I am so sorry, Everard. Nat 20, that's 10 piercing damage to Everard.
Jesus.
As he is stuck just above his left buttocks. Another arrow.
Wait. How did they got a nat? They got 2 nat 20s,
No, they got 1 nat 20.
but they have disadvantage because I'm prone.
Oh, you're right. Let me roll for that other one.
Rules
You are
public
so
defender
right.
strikes
You
again.
are so right. That is a 6.
I was like, the whole reason I went prone.
In one world, Everard was a pincushion, but in this one, he is unharmed. And the other arrow shoots out at Nail, completely misses. As we go back to Nail. Nail, you are within bow shot, harassing the goblins. What's up next?
If I assume the prone position, does that cost me an action or
Just
can
5 feet of your movement.
Okay, then I'm gonna since I've got the range with the crossbow, I'm going to assume the prone position, which actually makes a rifle-like weapon like the crossbow accurate. From the prone position, I can be more accurate. So let me see what I can do here.
Yeah, light them up. Up
I'm gonna aim
next will be
I'm gonna-
Everard.
Another one of the arrow ports. Let's see. In here. I don't know what the attack bonus is. I don't
Plus
have
It should be the
6.
same.
Yeah,
It'll be the
should
same as your short bow.
the bow.
Yeah,
Is
same as your
same?
short bow.
Yeah.
The damage is a D8 instead of a D6.
Yep. 1d8 plus
6 and 6 is 12.
12 hits.
Okay, so and then that's a D8.
That is a D8. Yeah. Wait,
Plus how much?
It's a light crossbow? Yeah, it's a D8.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And so it's what? D8 plus 6?
D8 plus 6 to hit, so it's a D20 plus 6 to hit. It'll be a D8 plus your dexterity
4?
modifier for damage.
I think it's plus 4, yeah.
Okay. So that is 8.
8 damage, yeah. Nail goes prone, takes a steady aim, and flawlessly shoots a bolt, chipping away another large section of this makeshift barricade. You can tell that this thing is really starting to get worn down, but that it's sturdy. You're going to have to crack at it just a little bit more to break open an entrance. Everard, or anything else from Nail? Does Nail stay where they are?
Yes.
Okay, Everard, you're up next. Apollo's on deck. Everard.
Oh shit, we're all the way back around.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving towards the thing, which will be not having. I guess it's still 25 because I'm, even with drop without having to drop prone. So
Yeah, to dash.
25 more feet, dashing in. That's it for me.
Okay. Apollo is up next. Catalina, you're on deck. Apollo, Ace, tell me what happens.
All right. Apollo's just going for the mentality of suppressing fire, so he's going to loose a crossbow bolt. Just kind of at the side of this thing, hoping to... If he hits something, great. If not, hopefully he hits the side of this thing and it's enough to scare him off. So 16 to hit.
Hits. Give me damage.
And that is a total of 9 damage.
9 damage. You see more of that opening begin to emerge. 9 damage. Okay. It is more than halfway broken. Up next is Catalina. Or anything else from Apollo? Sorry.
He would use the rest of his movement to crawl forward, but it's only going to give him 15 feet or so.
Gotcha. All right, Catalina.
I'm super far from the wagon, right?
Yes, you're about I'd say you're maybe like 3 turns of flat out running up the hill.
All right. I think I'm going to take my full movement, dash, and then drop, just so that if anyone does see me, I don't get shot immediately.
Okay, yeah, you charge into arrow range and dive headfirst to the ground like your compatriots, in order to make it harder for them to hit you. And at that, another few arrows launch out. I will destroy you, and I will take your things. It's a miss. It's a miss. Arrows just sort of flying into the dark. They cannot hit you guys because you are all crawling.
Everard pipes up. It seems like your plan can be defeated by people just crawling at you, dipshit.
It's really dark. It's hard to see.
Must be hard to think too.
At that, you hear some slapping and disciplinary action from inside, as Dib attempts to get his goblinoid hench people to aim a little better. And we go. I'm going to say that in the intervening arguments inside, because Dib is dissatisfied, you will all have 1 turn to get closer without any attacking. If you'd all like to push forward.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you all standing up, or are we continuing to crawl?
How far away am I at this point?
You're like, I think you're like 60 feet away. Everard's the closest. at about 1 full movement away. Catalina's 2 movements away. Nail is 2 movements away. Apollo is 2 movements away. So you can all get 1 movement closer. Everard will get up to the thing, and everyone else will be 1 away if you choose to stand up and get closer.
Okay, Nail does that and then drops.
Okay.
So how far
Um,
with feet?
In feet, Nail, you are 60 feet away.
Okay, so I'm in firebolt range.
Yep. So anyone who wants to charge up can get 60 feet away, which is where Everard is, or you can, or Everard can get up to the side of the wagon.
Yeah, I think for fear of bunching up, Apollo's going to try and stick where he's at to try and draw some attention away, as the others seem to have some kind of intent in mind, and he's just doing his best to help him out whatever way he can.
All right, so you all charge up the hill, and you can hear a little bit louder now from inside. Useless! Useless! You have to kill them! That is how we get the things! And it is Nail's turn.
Says, put your eye right up to that arrow port so you can see better.
Give me a persuasion check.
Dice don't fail me now. That's a 2 minus 2, so that's a 0.
Oh.
Oh, no.
You must think I am a fool, because even if I did put my eyes, I wouldn't see because it's dark. I will not fall for your ruse. Another couple of arrows fly out. It's a miss. They miss. They all miss. And we kick it off with Nail. Nail, you are now in firebolt range. You are 1 sort of dash away from the wagon. Everard, did you move closer or not?
yes, I will move closer.
Okay, you see Everard is now approaching the touching range of the of the overturned wagon. What do you do?
Um,
No, not
He
Everard.
yells out-
Sorry, it's
Oh, sorry.
Nail's turn. Sorry.
okay, sorry. Thank you. Thank
What does
you. I
Nail
actually
do?
need the second to figure out a thing. So.
Up next is Everard.
Nail is going to cast firebolt and he's going to aim it at one of the arrow ports.
Do it.
What's my spell casting? Nope. Wait a minute. I'm a little rusty on this stuff, guys. It's been so long since we've played.
What is your intelligence modifier?
Intelligence modifier is 3.
So what you'll do is you'll roll a d20 and you'll add 3 plus your proficiency, which I think is plus. Is it plus? It's plus 1. So you'll have a plus 4 to hit with your fireball.
My proficiency is 2 and
Oh, it's
my
2.
intelligence is 3.
Okay, so you have a
I
plus 5 to hit.
rolled a 12, so that's a 17.
17 hits. Give me damage. And because this thing is made out of wood, it's going to be vulnerable.
That's a 5.
5. This thing takes 10 points of fire damage as you all see a streak of light, a little mote of flame is shot out as Nail extends his hand and mutters an arcane phrase. It explodes on the inside, lighting it up, and you can just see the silhouette of like a few shadows in shock as the fireball goes in. Anything else from Nail?
No, that's it.
Okay, Everard, you're up. As you saw a firebolt streak past you and explode inside of the wagon.
Okay, so walk me through sort of how big this wagon is.
Yeah, so this wagon is, it's probably about 15 feet long, 15, 20 feet long, and a good, 10 or so feet wide. Rectangular in shape, but pretty boxy. Very sturdy construction. And the wheels have all been taken off and sort of leaned up against the side to sort of create a thicker outer barrier, almost like little walls. And the side has been thoroughly cracked and damaged to the point where you think only a couple of good whacks you might be able to break a hole in the side to get in.
Okay, and walk me through what would the relationship of this wagon then be to a 15-foot radius sphere?
It would pretty much
Fully engulf?
encircle the entire wagon. Yeah.
Everard, as
Why
he
do
gets
you
up and
ask?
stands up to the thing, says, "Sorry, guys, I should have thought of this earlier." He's gonna, with a bonus action, burn his one of his spell slots to turn back into sorcery points. He can burn 2 sorcery points to cast the spell Darkness on the wagon, and they cannot see out of the wagon unless they have Warlock facts. So,
Yeah, a magical shroud of inky black incandescent void.
yeah, and I have to say, as he does it, his normally, high pitched voice darkens, and he says,
Darkness now descend to earth. Blackened eyes show darkness worth.
Incredible.
this horrible voice just like erupts out of him.
And a magical shroud of nothing, of void, of null light blankets the wagon, and is suddenly hidden from everyone's sight. As you hear from inside, blind, I'm blind. You did this. No, I cannot see. Stop touching me.
You just thought the sun going out was bad. Well, I'm your worst fucking nightmare, bitch.
Everard, do anything
He
else?
says back in his much less intimidating voice.
in the Mickey Mouse.
No, that is it. Action, bonus action movement. Everard is done.
Niall says, "Good job, Evie."
All right, Apollo, you're up.
Thanks.
The wagon that you were previously attacking has now disappeared from sight. There is a hole in the universe where the wagon used to be, and you see Everard do that. Niall comment on it, and you're about one good movement away. What does Apollo do?
Well, he sure as hell isn't about to run into the void. So I think at this point, Apollo's just gonna knock a crossbow bolt and let it fly into the general direction. I mean, in layman's terms, he's trying to hit the broadside of a barn, so he's hoping that it get close enough.
Yeah, AC is 12 still. I mean, you know where it is.
All right. 26 to hit.
It hits. Give me damage.
And that's 8 damage.
8 damage is exactly what you needed. Describe to me what it's like for everyone as they witness Apollo crack a hole in the side of this thing.
Do they even know that he's cracked? I mean, I think
I'm sure they
he
hear
literally
it.
fires a bolt into the darkness and then hears a bunch of wood splintering as if he's hit wood with a crossbow bolt as they all look on into the void wondering exactly what the hell happened.
Everard has the option to drop the darkness if he would like. Not that he has to. But you all hear a massive crack as you can tell that the splintering of the side of this wagon has now gone on long enough that there is a hole that you can sneak into. And you hear the panicked voices of the goblins inside as they all scrabble to try and get away, but none of them come out of the darkness. You do suddenly hear that the voices get quiet and can no longer be heard. So at this point, the combat is over, and we go back to everyone at the top of this hill surrounding the wagon. The goblins have retreated deeper inside. The smell is just overwhelming from their little trash moat that sort of half encircles the wagon. You have all successfully punched a hole, but you can't see the wagon, which is still enshrouded in Everard's magical darkness. What do you do?
Actually, just for my own curiosity, isn't darkness usually cast on an object that then radiates the sphere? Because, like, isn't there something if you conceal that, you can hide the darkness but not lower the effect?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
So,
Magical
i.e., if you
darkness
were to
spreads
put,
from a. Sorry, go ahead.
so like, if you were to say, in theory, put darkness on an arrowhead, but then conceal the arrowhead in your hand, it then shields the darkness. Like, there is no darkness, but you don't drop the spell.
Magical darkness spreads from a point you choose within range. So that might have been how it worked in older editions, but I think in 5e,
It's
Okay.
yeah, you
if
just
the
sort
wait,
of
if the object,
pick
if
a
the point you
bubble.
choose is an object you were holding or one that isn't carried, the darkness emanate. Oh no, you're right. You're right. If the point you choose is an object you are holding or one that isn't being worn or carried, the darkness emanates from the object and moves with it, completely covering the source of the darkness. With an opaque object such as a bowl or a helmet, it blocks the darkness. If any of the spell's area overlap with the light created by a spell of second level or lower, the spell that created the light is dispelled.
So I think the
So yeah,
wagon
no,
is
you're right. You're right.
is still
But yeah, I that's a good thing for me to know for the future. But I did cast it on the wagon.
Okay, that's just what I was trying to figure out. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
but in the future I'll be casting it on, I don't know, gold pieces and other shit, copper pieces, and other shit.
Okay.
Just gonna be like opening, closing
Rocks.
his hand over and over to mess with people.
That actually would be extremely funny. You close your hand so you can see, run up, and then open it so that. And I actually think if I cast it with sorcery points, I can see through it. I should actually
Yes,
look at
you
that.
have the ability to see through magical darkness as a shadow sorcerer. It's very cool. So you have all.
I think I can only see through my own darkness, and only if I cast it with sorcery points, not my spell slots.
Got it.
But anyway, I can still see what's going on in there.
Yeah, so you've cracked a hole in this magically enshrouded wagon. What do you do? The goblins have seemingly retreated away from the outside where you cracked the hole. You're not sure where they went, but they're in there somewhere.
Yeah, so I think first things, I'm gonna just poke my head into the darkness, which I can apparently see through, and look at the hole. How much damage happened to this wagon that we're talking about? Is this thing like unusable, patchable?
It's gonna need some work, but
Okay. So it's not something we can just move off of here because they'll attack us while we're trying to fix it. Okay. So I think I say that to them. Okay, they retreated. One option, we can just leave, and they might come and follow us, but they seem pretty stationary with this wagon. The wagon's damaged, so it would need a lot of fixing for us to use it, but we have our little knapsack thing, so we might not need it. I can dispel the darkness and we can crawl in a goblin hole and kill the goblins if you want. They might have stuff down there if they've been stealing for other people, but they did sort of say we were their first victims, so what do you want to do, guys?
Ace, Apollo, now being closer to the wagon. Well, I guess it's still shrouded in magical darkness, right?
Yeah, for the moment. I mean, that only lasts a minute though, so it's probably. I'm gonna say it's probably I'll drop it. It's fine.
Okay.
It wouldn't last much longer anyway.
As Everard drops the magical darkness and Apollo gets a better look at this wagon, this is a wagon from Nazkashak, a wagon that would have carried weapons south into the tribe lands of the Stygian steppe. It has gone a little bit further south than that. You think that whoever this Dib halfling muncher fellow is probably from Nazkashak and decided to redirect this wagon for their own gain.
Yeah, so I think Apollo would kind of gather the group a little bit and goes, "Look, I'm not saying we should or shouldn't go in there, but I do recognize the wagon." And I think he'd even reach into his pocket and pull out one of the arrowheads. So it's very similar to the wagons that I stole these off of. So what's left in there, what's not, I don't know. But at the very least, they may be using it, or there may be nothing left. But we should be aware before we just charge in head first.
All right. What's going on?
I mean, we got to make a call quick here. In or out?
All right. Who votes for in?
Yes.
Yeah, me.
I have a proposition.
Okay.
What if we just flip the wagon while they're still in it and see what happens?
You can also absolutely do that.
I mean, I think, I guess we haven't fully investigated. I poke my head in the hole in the wagon. What do I see in there?
You see, inside under the wagon is sort of this makeshift stronghold. It is a dank, foul-smelling place. All the grass is dead. There's a small cauldron of rendered animal fat that is boiling over a smoky fire. There are two knobby, sort of makeshift spears that have been abandoned on the ground, and you notice that the spear tips are made of old gold. They've been thrown down, I guess, as the goblins fled. There's also a ladder sticking up out of the ground from a hole, suggesting that perhaps there is a lower floor or entrance to a deeper part of this fortress.
Okay, I grab the two spears, and Everard will take one and sort of toss it to Catalina, and say like, "I think the spear tips on these are made out of some pretty rare stuff. So, here, and if they have more of this stuff down there, that could help us a lot. But also, they might use it against us. So, that's kind of what Apollo just said." But also, they're not in the wagon right now. There's like a hole that leads down, and I think they're in like tunnels they've dug or something. Also, there's like boiling oil. So,
We can use the oil for moving torches. Because if it's animal fat, we can burn that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to secure this vat of rendered animal fat, I'll give you a unit of light.
Also pour the boiling oil down the hole.
You could also do that. And I won't give you a unit of light, but you could light it up.
Perhaps we should take the light and brave the hole to see what's down there.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds like you know goblins better than the rest of us, Apollo. What do you think? Is it worth it?
I mean, again, knowing where this wagon comes from, I mean, they turned our home into what I could only define as a weapons depot. I mean, it wasn't just arrowheads like this. I mean, you guys are holding spears. I mean, they had, weapons on weapons being shipped out of there easily. But not like I'm the best at grabbing things. And I walked away with all these arrowheads and nobody batted an eye. So if even one of these wagons got aside, I can only imagine what was there. Whether it's still there or they've traded it off, I don't know. But I mean, it could definitely change the tide for us moving forward.
It also seems like something we probably shouldn't leave at our back. I say we go in. If that's acceptable to everyone.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'll follow in.
All right, so how do you intend to go in? And if you do, you'll only be able to go in one at a time, so I'm going to need a marching order. I mean, unless you just literally start digging out the hole.
I guess prior to that, is anybody real beat up at this point?
They dealt me some temp HP damage, but I still have one temp HP left, and the crawling seemed to do its trick other than that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really smart.
Niall didn't take any damage, and so I think I want to. I'm going to put my crossbow away, sling it across my back. I'm going to draw my rapier in one hand and my dagger in the other hand, and I'm going to peer down the hole.
Okay. You look down into the hole, and you see sort of the beginnings of a narrow tunnel. You're gonna have to crouch in order to not bump your head, but it runs straight deep into the earth about 30 feet before turning sharply, so you can't really see past that corner.
Hmm.
Then is the ladder in the hole?
Yeah, the ladder's coming up out of the hole.
All right, I'm gonna go down.
All right, is anyone else following Nail? And in what order?
I would prefer to be third or fourth, but
And is this a single wide? I mean, what's the width of the hall?
It's only wide enough for one of you to go. If one of you wants to pass in front, it's gonna be a squeeze.
Okay. So I move far enough that I can see the turn at the end, and far enough to leave room for people coming behind me.
Okay, Nail is first. Who's second?
Question. Can Catalina even fit into the tunnel?
Crouching, she can.
Right.
Everard is the only one who doesn't have to crouch.
Okay. Second question. Would it make sense that these tunnels have like an exit, like an outport somewhere else in the clearing?
You do not smell any fresh air coming through this tunnel.
Okay. I'll go second.
Okay, Catalina's second. Apollo, did you want to go third?
third or fourth. I'm kind of impartial as long as Paul kind of prefers to be in range, so
All right, Everard, are you the rear guard or are you in the middle?
I have 120 feet of dark vision instead of 60 feet, so I think I can make it easier in the back than anyone else.
Okay.
Just because, like, my grave eyes allow me to see twice as far as, like, anybody.
Sounds good. So I have it as Nail first, Catalina second, Apollo third, Everard bringing up the rear. Sound good?
works for me.
Okay. So as you all descend down into this cramped and uncomfortable, foul-smelling tunnel, Nail is in the front. He's about 15 feet away from the corner turn of the tunnel. How do you proceed? Are you all going in a line? Is one of you going to try to go ahead? Tell me what you got. Does Bonus Dad want to peek around the corner? Or does Nail want to peek around the corner?
Yeah, I'll move up and peer around the corner.
As you tuck your head around the corner to look in, crouched as you are, you... Let's see here. Yep, okay. So you have... please make a perception check.
$18.
18. Your foot is just in front of a small tripwire that would activate a trap that would swing around with some spikes around the corner, hitting anyone who is looking. You did not set it off, and you did notice it, but you can tell that whatever triggers this trap will probably hurt most of the folks in the tunnel. You are able to disarm it if you'd like with a sleight of hand check, DC 12.
Okay, I will attempt to disarm it. Let's see, let's see. That's an 18.
18, you're able to sever the tripwire without activating the trap, and you now have the drop. As you can just make out, this sort of tunnel opens up into what can really only be described as a goblin throne room. The tunnel is precariously carved and shored up with planking. You see the goblin's living quarters. A single sputtering torch illuminates this small chamber with a makeshift throne at the far end. Evil eyes blink at you from little mounds of dirt inside, and you hear the sounds of bowstrings tightening. We're going to enter combat. Your initiative order will be the order that you're in the tunnel. So that's going to be Nail, Catalina, Apollo, and then Everard. Nail, as you have gotten the drop on them, it is your turn. What do you do?
All right,
We need a little battle music.
the crossbow that I have is I have it described as a, where do I see it? Well, somewhere I thought I'd written this. Oh yeah, it's a hand crossbow. So evidently it's like the size of a.
It's like a pistol.
Pistol.
Yeah.
So I switched from the dagger to the because I want a melee weapon, not a thrown one, and so I'm switching from I'm going to keep the rapier and switch to the hand crossbow and fire at a pair of the eyes.
All right, give me an attack roll. 10. A 10 does not hit.
What was the attack bonus?
Your attack bonus would be +6.
+6.
So a 10 + 6, 16.
No, I threw a 3.
Gotcha. So that's going to be a 9. You shoot into the room, and it lands. Your crossbow bolt lands harmlessly into a soft mound of dirt that the goblins are hiding behind. Do you move deeper into the room to allow the rest of your companions to leave the tunnel?
Yeah, I slip around I come out of the tunnel, move a step to my left, crouch.
Gotcha. All right, you are standing in the throne room just inside 5 little mounds of dirt with goblins gnashing their teeth and behind them. Up next is Catalina. Catalina, you have a chance to step around the corner and into the room. What do you do? Synovia, you are muted. There you go.
I've already noticed the tripwire, right?
The tripwire has been disarmed. You don't gotta worry about it.
All right, so, I think I'm gonna move further into the throne room. And how big do you say the throne room is? Like, radius?
I think the throne room is probably like, maybe like 30 feet deep.
Okay. If I have 10 feet of reach on both sides, and my wingspan is probably ginormous.
Yeah, you can hit just about. If you were standing in the middle of this room, you could whip anything.
How do we feel about me moving into the middle of the room?
How does Catalina feel?
I think I'm gonna move a little closer to not fully into the middle of the room, but move further in, just so that I have a good vantage on like all of the little mounds of dirt, just in case somebody wants to pop up and try something.
Okay. Are you readying an action to attack something if it pops up?
If it pops up with violent intent, yes.
Okay. All right. That's Catalina's turn. Up next is Apollo. Apollo, you are just able to crouch and squeeze your way around to the corner of this tunnel into the throne room behind Catalina and next to Nail. What do you do?
Are any of them within a charging range? Like if I rush forward, would I be able to reach one of them?
Yeah, you could easily engage all of them in melee with your normal movement.
Okay. So, I guess I want to find, without, I'm not looking to get to the back of the room or anything, but whoever is more forward, closer to the entry, ideally one of them that has a bow to try and impose a disadvantage on them. I think Apollo is going to draw his old gold dagger and charge forward and just attempt to slash at him.
Yeah. Give me an attack roll. You charge up on a mound of dirt, and behind it, crouched, was a little goblin with a stringy, worn-out short bow, about to shoot a crude arrow at you.
That'll be a 28 to hit.
Hits. Give me damage.
And that'll be 9 damage, counting the +1 from the dagger.
Yes. Describe to me how Apollo kills this goblin.
Yeah, I think Apollo just kind of rushes in and kind of drives the dagger up into kind of like its rib cage as he kind of tackles it to the ground to, eliminate any one of them that could be shooting at the rest of his friends.
Yeah, you all see Apollo slip out around behind Nail and charges just past Catalina, leaping over a mound and stabbing up and down, and you hear as a goblin is killed, leaving only 4 threats in the room. As Everard, you emerge from the corner of the tunnel. What does Everard do?
Okay. Do I see any of these folks who look like they might be Dib who spoke to us or no?
Yeah, so the 3 remaining goblins are behind little mounds of dirt, and Dib himself appears to be hiding behind the throne at the very back. You can see big green hairy knuckles gripping the sides of his little makeshift throne, which is just one of the seats of the wagon, which has been repurposed.
All right. I'm just going to use Chill Touch on any of the goblins that I can see. So once
Sure.
again, Everard's eyes, he blinks and they go black. And he says,
Shadows block the morning light. Darkness frees the pulse of life.
and he casts Chill Touch. I got to roll my attack. Actually, I need to use one of the evil-looking dice for that. Oof, that's not going to do it. That is a 7 to hit. You know what? No, we're burning Chat Inspiration.
Do it.
We are burning the Chat Inspiration, and we are going to roll... We're going to go back to Lawful Stupid, because Lawful Stupid rolled well from here earlier. That's better. That's a 17 to hit.
17 hits. Give me
Beautiful.
damage.
It's the first non-D20 roll I've rolled all game. One damage.
This chill skeletal shadow hand flies through the air and latches onto a shoulder of a goblin who cries out in pain. Oh, that stings! And then immediately all of the goblins begin to retaliate in turn. Kill him! Drive him out! And 3 arrows land on Nail, Apollo, and Everard. You each take 4 points of piercing damage. Catalina, you have shocked them enough. The one that would have killed you, Apollo, was able to mow down, and you are not vulnerable. Dib, Halfling Muncher, emerges from behind the throne, and what you see is a goblin-sized orc. An orc which should be about 7 feet tall, enormous burly arms, expansive chest, rippling muscles, practically an 18 pack, just buff as all get
Scrappy
out.
Doo?
And he is about a halfling size. He's goblin-sized orc. But he's a full-blooded orc. It's not some weird kind of half-breed genetic type stuff. He's an orc. As, you know, Apollo would recognize and Catalina would know. I'm here to destroy you. You think you can challenge me in my own throne? Well, it's time to take off the gloves. This is the dungeon of despair, the throne of throwing down. This is the palace of pain. And as he flexes, you can see in his bicep, there is an enlarged reduce arrow lodged in his arm. If you're man enough, you can put down your arms, and I will fight you man to man, hand to hand, and we will settle this like heroes. And he points at Everard.
Okay. Does my response so? I'm not inclined to take him up on that offer at all. And I would like to cast a spell at him about it, but I don't know how that works in the current action economy of the moment.
I will give you a reaction. You may cast whatever spell you'd like.
So once again, I think Everard sort of like steps up a little bit and like cracks his neck and, you know, his fingers, and then once again shuts his eyes, then they open black, and he says, "Darkness now. No, darkened skies now hold no hope. Now I loose a witching bolt." And I'm going to cast Witch Bolt.
All right. Witch Bolt is a spell attack?
Yes, 30. I have to get within 30 feet of him.
Okay.
But if he is, I don't know if he has a halfling's movement or not, so we'll see.
He does. He has 25
Okay,
feet.
so he'll have to dash to get to me.
No, you can.
Okay, that
you can hit
is.
him.
I know, but if I'm 30 feet away
right.
from him, he has to dash to get to me. Okay, that is a 19
Hits.
to hit. Great. So this like black bolt of lightning erupts out of my hand and creates this arc between us and remains as long as I can maintain concentration. And initially deals 10 damage.
So you hit him with this arcing ray of energy, this crackling bolt, and it immediately sort of magnetizes onto that arrowhead that is stuck into his bicep.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
And as you pump your shadow energy into him, it harms him deeply. You see his skin crackle and burn and flake away, but that arrowhead seems to glow, and it begins to radiate a little bit of reddish, sort of chaotic light. And then immediately his arms begin to ripple, his muscles begin to sort of stretch under his skin, and he begins to expand first to his normal height, and then even larger and even larger as the earth around you is now suddenly clogged with a gigantic 15-foot orc. And Dib Halfling Muncher reaches out an arm to try and crush you, as he is now within grabbing range, being gargantuized. I will give everyone a reaction to attack, and Catalina, you can get 2 because you readied an action. If everyone would like to make an attack roll to attempt to destroy Dib Halfling Muncher before he can grab and crush Everard in his single hand.
Can I try a
Question.
free action just for the kicks?
Yes, absolutely.
If these are, similar and or identical arrowheads to what I'm used to, can I just try and use the command word to then shrink the effect rather than enlarge?
You can try. I think that you would recognize whatever interaction is happening right now is kind of aberrant. You
Okay.
aren't certain that that will work.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I also have a question.
Yes.
I know that I have my ready to action.
Yes.
And as a bonus action, I can make another attack because of two weapon combat.
That's correct.
Does that extra attack that regular
So
attack
you
that
will
everyone's
have
making?
2 main hand attacks and 1 offhand attack.
Perfect. Okay.
Well, the only thing I can do is just deal the damage again. Because I have him under Witch Bolt. So I can just roll the 12 again and he'll take whatever that is.
All right. And
That's a big old 4.
because he is flanked, I will say that sneak attack will go off for Nail.
So that
Okay.
is
So we've got 4 damage on the board. He took 9, was it, from the first witch ball?
I was thinking it was 10.
Was it 10?
it was 10, yeah.
Okay, so he's taken 10
Yes,
from the
I
first
did
witch ball.
10 initially, correct.
He's going to take 4 from the second one. I won't tell you how much damage you need to do to save Everard, but it's a bit more.
Is this count as a full round of actions? I.e., do I get a bonus action and primary action?
You will get actions. I will allow you bonus actions for attacks for things like 2-weapon fighting or for skills if you want to do like a hunter's mark, for instance, something like that.
Perfect. That's what I was looking at. So,
yes, sir.
I am. Go ahead.
What's the armor class that I have to beat?
You have to beat a DC 12
All right, that's gonna be
or AC 12 AC.
no. Okay, so for the first 2 attacks, it's gonna be 16 damage.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I think I'm just gonna do a spare attack. That way, it's like I'm actually stabbing him. That's a nat 20 to hit, so I crit. Oh wait,
right.
I forgot. I crit on 19s too. That should have been another.
Yes, you do.
So
Math.
math is so hard.
What's anyone else got?
Yeah, I had a 15 to hit.
That hits. Make
with
sure.
a firebolt. I cast a firebolt.
Okay. And you.
And that's
How much?
Sorry, go ahead. 8 damage.
8 damage. And did you add your sneak attack to that?
No. So,
I think that's 2d6.
okay. That's another 8.
All right, 8 and 8 is 16.
Okay. Apollo's going to take a slash with his old gold dagger, which will give him a 26 to hit. And comes out to 10 damage from the dagger and 4 from Hunter's Mark.
Woof. Woof.
And then I deal an additional 7 damage.
Amazing. Now, everything is happening in the blink of an eye. Everard has stretched out his hand and arced magical energy into Dib Halfling Muncher. He begins to expand rapidly, and in his panicked mind, he does the only thing that he can think of, which is to crush the halfling. And as his monstrous arm extends, the skin boiling and blackening, you all jump in front of Everard in an attempt to save his life and to cut down this monstrous orc. Nail flashes his hand, and you see that ring on his finger glint with a magical light as that firebolt launches out and splashes greasy flames across the side of this giant. You see Apollo lashing out with the old gold dagger, cutting deep trenches of flesh of this putrid orc. And Catalina whipping 2 simultaneous whips, lashing away gore and gibbets of flesh, tearing away as she does. And Everard, with a final pulse of his will, sends a bulging charge of energy down the length of its hand as Dib Halfling Muncher begins to dissolve into ash. You guys did 67 damage. You only needed to do 30.
Before he dies, I want Catalina to just look at him and be like, "That's not how you munch a halfling, idiot."
I thought I was invincible. Just like full Avengers Endgame snap. It, however, does not improve the aroma of the throne room, let's say. As you are now left with 3 rapidly surrendering goblins. Don't kill us! It was his idea! He was... we'll show you where all this good stuff is, promise!
Great.
Show us.
It's under the throne. It's where he keeps it. Under his formerly greasy butt.
Okay, cool. You guys should get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we're cool, right? Yeah, we're cool. We're cool, right? Yeah. Do you guys let them go?
I mean, I don't want to have to smell them, so...
Yeah, they can leave.
Okay.
Step aside and let these guys go up the hole. I will follow them at the point of the rapier. They will go out of here. Guaranteed. If you want to pick up the stuff that's under the throne, if it's any good.
Yeah, that's like totally fair. Deal.
Don't turn around. Just get out of the hole.
3 goblins, all clutching each other's dirty shirts, scuttle out and up the hole with an advancing rapier point behind them.
I'll go check the stuff under the throne, I guess.
Yeah, I'll go with Everard in case it's something I recognize.
Yeah, so you approach this throne. It's just a dirty seat with some like half-gnawed, rotting bones piled up around it. And you're able to just sort of like offset the throne, and underneath it is a little dugout with a note with smudged ink, about 15 gold pieces, 2 arrowheads of enlarged reduce, a small string pouch full of glitter dust worth about 100 gold, and 2 more old gold spear points. As you collect all of those things, which I can put in the... Let me put in the group chat for everyone.
It'd be lovely.
There is a final object, sort of half hidden in the dirt, that Everard, you feel a little tingle when you look down at it.
I don't know, I look down at it, I dig it up, whatever.
Yeah, you dig out an old gold ring, and as you hold it in your hands, there's a little tickle, sort of deep within you, and you feel that you have an additional sorcery point.
Just in general?
Yes.
Damn.
Okay. You have now commandeered the wagon formerly of Dib Halfling Muncher. Way to go. Everyone, please take inspiration if you used it. I'm not sure if you did.
I used my chat inspiration, but not my normal.
And you have an okay place to bed down for the night if you'd like. It might not be luxury accommodations, let's say, but they are safe. You do know that, with a little bit of creative mending, you can plug the hole in the outside of the wagon. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that. But if you intend to take the wagon with you, you're going to have to fix it up. So you might as well spend a day or two here camping to do that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. There are rations here if you would like to eat them. They are goblin rations, so they are somewhat less appetizing. The bargain that I'll make with you is you can add an additional unit of rations to your ration pool if you would all like to make saves against poison.
I have advantage on saves against poison, but I also don't have to eat. So
It's a cruel world.
What kind of save would that be?
That will be a DC 12 Constitution save.
So do we all have to decide and then make the save? How is that going to work?
Yeah, so decide if you'd like to keep the rations or discard them. If you keep them, you can add 1 unit of rations to your pool, but you'll all have to make saves against poison. If you decide to destroy them, no harm. You'll just keep on going.
What do you think, Captain?
Gotta have a heavy stomach to process this stuff.
I think we're gonna get extra food from the sack, so maybe, unless you guys really want to eat weird goblin rations, I'm not gonna stop you, but I don't think we need them.
I'm not feeding this to Saucy, so.
Yeah, Saucy takes 2 sniffs.
If the dog ain't going to eat it, I'm not going to eat it.
Fair's fair. Okay.
Lions wouldn't eat that stuff.
Honestly, it seemed like the goblins didn't even really enjoy it. So, you have all gained a nice little bunch of stuff. Apollo, I'm assuming, will take the 2 arrowheads of enlarge reduce, unless other folks would like to lay claim to them.
Fine by me.
Okay. The bag of glitter, worth about 100 gold. That's just a nice little bit of currency. The old gold ring has gone to Everard. But you did find 4... You found 2 old gold spears and essentially 2 old gold daggers, spearheads, which you can put on the ends of a suitable stick to create a spear, if you would like, the same way that the goblins have. But 2 of you can take spears, 2 of you can take daggers, or you can just sort of have them, for when you need them.
I'll take at least one of the spearheads, just so that I can bump up my spear that I already have, just replace the head on it.
Sure. It'll essentially
we can-
make it a +1 magical weapon.
All right.
So that's all you have to do is put a little +1 next to that, and then it ignores all damage resistances as old gold.
You will take a dagger to add his collection.
All right, you get a +1 magic dagger.
I'd also like one of the daggers.
You get a +1 magic dagger, which leaves
That's
Apollo
fine.
with an old gold spear.
So I have no problem taking that,
Mhm.
but just as a thought for the group, is this something we want to entrust to like Glemma and Knock Knock or something, so they have perhaps a
Mm.
little more of an advantage to defend themselves should we get in the thick of it? Because I mean, usually a bow and a dagger is enough for me, and a spear wouldn't be my usual style. So
Yeah, you can absolutely upgrade any of your companion's equipment. So would Apollo like to give the spear to Glemma?
yeah, I think unless anybody like directly opposes the idea, I think he would give the spear to Glemma and at least give them a little better fighting chance.
Okay,
Seems fine to me.
awesome. Yeah, no problems here. Glemma now has a magical weapon. Certainly will come in handy the next time you get surrounded and attacked mercilessly. So, you guys have a wagon. It's going to take some time to fix it up, but that's okay. You got a nice little bundle of stuff, and you're going to make camp here for a little bit. I think we'll call the session here in a bit. Is there any wind down stuff that folks would like to do before we end for tonight?
I just want to make sure I have the correct count for our rations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if we sit and eat now, it's going to go down to 1, right?
We
2 of each.
we won't have to worry about that till next session.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so we'll do rations at the beginning of sessions, and then we'll do our travel dice here in a second, which I believe, since it was Sam's turn last, it's going to be I think it's Zenobia's turn.
Mm.
And because you did a great job, getting out of there. You didn't get bogged down. You didn't get possessed by any random spirits in the Mercy Cormac Bart. And you were able to take out the goblins fairly well. You did bust up the wagon. So I'm going to say that you'll need to roll a d6 for your travel die today.
And while that's happening, speaking of being possessed by things, I think Apollo would kind of walk off as he would any other night, as if he's going to go forage for things,
Mm-hmm.
but would probably just spend some time off in the distance a little way, kind of studying the one gem that he took, just to kind of see if anything jumps out at him, if there's like any actual feeling, connection, anything of that nature that really kind of gives him any ideas if this thing is really the answer to his questions.
Give me a perception check.
That is a 22.
Apollo wanders off into the darkness, away from the camp, and crouching down, holds in his hands about a golf ball sized black obsidian crystal. And as he stares down into it, he's thinking, he's communicating. He is begging for an answer. And much like an 8-ball, something stirs in that sort of inky center. There's a tiny little mote of light, bluish white, like a single match flame. And it wiggles back and forth, coming alive at the feeling of being perceived. And for just a split moment, you think you can almost see his face, as if he's looking out of the crystal at you. And then you hear a twig snap, and you see a small dark figure run off into the distance. Knock Knock had followed you, and you noticed as he noticed you.
Yeah, fair enough. I think kind of got in some form of reception from it. He'd stash it away and make his way back after a minute or so. Like he's not racing back to camp or anything, but yeah, he kind of make his way back that way.
And Apollo now feels like he's fully attuned, so you can now use you get a free cast of the light spell once per day.
Okay.
And as you return, not having noticed that you were gone with my -1 perception check, Everard is just saying like, "Great job today, gang! Really, really good job with the goblins. Thank you for saving my ass. I was about to die, but we all came together and kicked butt. So put one in the dub column for the postman."
Yay, Postmen.
Yeah, Captain Granothy stands up. I just want to say I'm really proud of everyone for keeping me completely out of danger. And as your former captain, just really warms my heart until Glemma and Knock Knock just start like hitting him on the back of the head. Okay, jeez. Good job's all I'm saying. And with that, we zoom out away from the campfire, the overturned wagon, as we see many hands, hammers and nails, mending it up. And to close this out for tonight, Synovia, if you would please roll a d6 and tell me how many days we've been on the road.
According to my very, very gratefully bad roll, we've been on the road for 1 day.
Incroyable. 1 day on the road. Pixel, what does that bring us up to for total days on the road?
23 days remain, which I suppose, I don't know, what did we start with? 30?
36.
36.
13 days.
Yeah, 13 days on the road, 23 remain.
Lucky number 13, y'all. It's been a good one. You've had a good day. Now you're all going to have a great night. And in 2 weeks, we'll find out what lies at the other end of this road. Thank you all for playing tonight, and let us reintroduce ourselves as we say goodbye to all of our friends out there in the internet world. I will begin. I don't think I ever introduced myself. My name is Beast. I was the DM this whole time, in case you didn't know, and I will continue to be the DM every time unless something radically changes. So, thank you all for watching. It's been great, and we will go in reverse order with Pixel. Tell us who you are, who you played, and if you would like to be found on the it's keep up appearances, Sanofi.
Hang on, if I can. Oh wait, no, I think we're back. I think we're
We're
back.
back.
I see
We're
faces.
back.
We are?
Yes, it was just a brief.
Just
Pause.
a little frame drop. Just a little stream drop. Okay, well, Pixel did a thing. I'm sure you all heard it. So, Synovia, tell us who you are, who you played, and if you'd like to be found on the internet.
Hi, once again, I am Synovia. Today I played Catalina, who is a half-orc fighter. She made her mom very, very proud today, but we'll get into that another time. You can find me on most social media at Flannel Flannel. Unless it's Instagram, there's this one brand that has Flannel Flannel already, so I'm Flannel Flannel 1. But I'm usually on TikTok anyway, so you can find me there.
Awesome. Thank you. Ace, who are you? Who'd you play? And do you want to be found on the internet?
Yeah, I'm Ace. Today I played Apollo, the Hobgoblin Ranger, who did the big dumb and stole some things he probably shouldn't have. But it's all in the name of finding things out, so it'll be great. Usually find me around Bonus Bombs Tavern. I run a handful of games there. I'm gearing up for a new one, probably end of February-ish, depending how some things play out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's usually where I'm at.
Wonderful. And Bonus Dad, please tell
I
us
am.
who you are, who you played, and if you'd like to be found on the internet.
Last but not least, I'm Bonus Dad. I played Nail, the High Elf Rogue, and yeah, you can see me on TikTok on Bonus Mom 70 stream about 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. She takes it from 9 till about 10:30, and then I come on for a half hour or so, do some poetry, sing a song, read an Uncle Wiggily story. Also, we have some stuff posted on
Is it YouTube?
YouTube under, help me out, Pixel. Is it Bonus Mom 70?
It should be Bonus Mom
It's
70
Bonus
on
Mom
YouTube
70.
as well.
Yeah.
And Bonus Mom's Tavern and other places. We've got blogs, whatever you call those things. I'm old, you know.
Right, recordings, yeah.
Spotify and other places of myself and others in the Bonus Fam reading. And so, yeah, come and join us. We have fun on the live stream. So, hope everyone has a great evening.
Yeah, and I had fun tonight. Thank you all to our players. Thank you, Bonus Mom, for rating us. Episode 6 will be in another 2 weeks. I hope you come and check us out then. And I will give you a tiny little preview with 2 words. Gilded Glizzies. And with that,
Oh no.
I am signing off. Good night, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.